want to go to like biology because like I always had a discussion, and I learned that like males are like brain dead at birth. There's like a chemical released in the womb that slows down our emotional side of the brain. And so in a sense, we're like brain dead. He just tricked him out some money, man. He about to lose way more than he gained with some ego thing. He tricked him out his own bag, and it's crazy. Like that wasn't worth all. Back.
Huh? Oh, okay. Uh, I was having a conversation with someone today, and anyone who knows about LeBron James and Isaiah Stewart, the forward for the
We don't.
Detroit Pistons, and a little kerfuffle the
Kerfuffle.
gentleman
It's
got
a great
into.
word.
So it was a question about was the reaction by Isaiah Stewart was it a valid reaction to what had transpired between these two men?
Hold on. What was the question?
wanting to
Was it
wanting
valid?
to
Huh?
know if Isaiah Stewart's reaction to him getting hit was based on what Mr. O said, right? A standard is how men should carry themselves and how we should act. Is this
Wow.
fitting of the standard? And he disappeared right when the question got posed.
I mean, this is a valid question all the way around, but I would have to say, I think that was our difference that we had in the conversation was who are we to judge someone's reaction, how they chose to go about. It's their turn. It's they spin on the wheel. If they want to fuck it off or blow it all in one wide, shit, go ahead.
I mean, but
Now, if you say what's the standard should be, I mean, how can you set a standard for a rage?
by
It's
saying what's not okay when you're
it's
enraged,
illogical. It's illogical. See, he wasn't mad. He was raging. That's two different things. He redlined. Nobody could get a control of him. He ran over his teammates, his trainers. You know what I'm saying? That's who he was running over. So, bottom line is he wasn't in his right mind. That's temporary insanity. So, how do you set a standard for that?
temporary insanity.
Yeah. Hey, I know you know, so don't make me. Don't make me. Okay.
I mean, the reason I laugh at it is because I could understand what you're saying, but it's just the terms in which that commonly gets used, like it's diluted at this point. Like you can't.
It
I
is.
don't.
I agree. It can't be diluted, right? But rage, right, is the intense, uncontrolled anger. Oh, rage is the intense, uncontrolled anger that is an increased stage of hostile response to a perceived egregious injury or injustice, right? Believe it or not, rage alone can be the difference between an assault charge and an aggravated assault charge.
This is
See,
true.
rage in that definition, the only thing that's going to tell me that I understand what Vic is saying now is uncontrolled. That's the one word in
Uncontrolled.
that
It's a key
entire
word.
And
definition.
that's the
There's no
piece of
respect.
then that's where I think the rage comes from. You
Well,
know, there's this thing that I say where there can be a dude, 100 watts. You can be a 99 level fighter if you use the Madden rankings, a 99 level ranked fighter. And then me, O is 76 level ranked fighter. But you've done some sort of egregious harm to him, pissed him off, disrespected his family, or did something totally disrespect that creates a level of rage within him.
Mm.
You just playing. You just messing with him. Him, he's enraged. What would then take place? His level of rage would boil him up so much because he actually has a real emotional dog in the fight. When you just messing with him, he could possibly get you. Rage is a heavy thing. You get me? And because why? Because if you notice, rage normally is what follows someone doing something to you. So rage is the fuel behind the counterpunch that somebody threw. The counterpunch, rage fuels the counterpunch from the punch that somebody else threw at you. What do you think about that?
Yes.
I 100% agree with that.
Hmm?
I 100% agree with that. Rage is normally a can you hear me?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Oh, okay. But rage is definitely a counterpunch. I definitely agree. It's a counterpunch. The question is, I mean, look, man. Human beings.
Talk your shit.
Look, we can put the human aspect in, and, people have a hard time controlling and blah blah and all that. But like I just heard my man say on the last show, even though, never mind. Sorry, not gonna do that. What I heard him say was, what I heard someone say was, about these conversations and improving or showing solution, right?
Right.
I just think the solution is, even in your rage, there still has to be some kind of control, right? I mean, look, you can say whatever you want, each situation, blah, 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 all this other kind of stuff. But like you said, the difference between aggravated assault and attempted murder is your ability to control your rage. The difference between making it home safe to your kids and getting popped by somebody homie is your ability to control your rage. Now, it was an opportunity where he was on a basketball court, like Tristan said. Like he had the opportunity where he was on a basketball court, and it was a lot of safety around for it not to escalate too crazy. If he would have did that same thing on the street, there's no telling how that could have ended for him. You know what I'm saying? People get shot for much less.
And
so your real question is,
was it real or was it Memorex? That's my question. Was it real? Was it acting? Was it real rage?
He wasn't acting.
It was.
He wasn't acting.
Yeah, I don't think that was acting at all.
What incident y'all talking about?
Grammy, if he's talking about Isaiah
Stewart.
Stewart.
You did pop away when I asked the question. So based on what you had said, you were talking about standard of men and how we should move and operate and things of that sort.
Right.
I'm not sure if you're familiar, if you follow basketball at all.
No sports.
You don't follow sports at all. Okay, so
I watch the news. I mean, I'm familiar with the news. So if it's something trending or something that's going on.
So LeBron James hitting Isaiah Stewart in the face.
I saw that incident. I missed the part where LeBron hit him, but I saw the rage.
So you saw
Detroit,
so the question was his reaction fitting of the standard in which you were talking about that we need to come to as men?
No, that was about his personal ego. He wasn't going to allow himself to be embarrassed and go back to his neighborhood without doing something about it because of the quote unquote real nigga thing. But like, men just don't move like that. We knew it in the confines of the game, even if it was on purpose. Like, if I really want to get somebody, you never know.
That's why I asked that question.
Like, you never know. You don't move like that. You take yours, you get off the court because you know the setting and you know what can happen, the ramifications. Like, he just tricked him out some money, man. He about to lose way more than he gained with some ego thing. He tricked him out of his own bag. And it's crazy. Like, that wasn't worth all that. That was something that happened within the confines of the game, man. You know, you got all these police around. You can't really do nothing like that. What you was going to do? Kill him? Get your lick back? No, you want to prove to your homeboys that you ain't going to be no bitch. Like,
and that's why crazy. I asked.
To me, like, who you got something to prove to? Your manhood is not in question. What are you doing? Like, my manhood ain't never in question with no dude. Like, I've had literally guys point a gun to my face and I made him feel like that was the definition of stupid to kill me in front of all these people, a black man on a black man, all because of your girl being out of pocket. This is weird. You talked to my girl, or you hit me, you stepped on my shoe. They had a guy here in Houston that at one of these small clubs in the hood, he stepped on his shoe and he killed him. What is that about? That may be in drug induced, but at the end of the day, it's all about ego. And what do you have to prove when your manhood is not on the line? That's not how we're measured. That's not how we judge. It's more respectable to handle that the right way.
Yeah.
LeBron James ain't in the nature. If that was Ben Wallace, then maybe it would be up. But LeBron don't have no history of being that type of player.
Bruh, do you really think a 20-year-old man is thinking about LeBron James' history
No,
when he
I ain't.
sees his whole shit leaking? He split my man.
This is what I'm finna
split
say
my
to
man
you.
lip,
Like that's that young and dumb.
and I fuck with Brian.
That's the young and dumb argument. Like we don't give these girls no pass when they sleep with a underachieving guy and she have a baby. Young and dumb don't count. Young and dumb, regardless of fault, why you didn't learn how to become a man. My daddy wasn't there. Responsibility still exists to become that, regardless. I don't care so much about fault that I do responsibility. All that, like my daddy wasn't there, and this is why I am who I am. Okay, maybe we can work with that. If you can admit that, then we can build on that.
We already here though. So we already here.
So take you messed up. That was wrong. I'm not gonna condemn you for the rest of your life. But if you can admit that you was wrong, then we can build on that and make you a better man. Because I know he probably came from a single parent home too. Because we watched our mamas react like that. We didn't watch men react like that in life. And that's why I hate that the narrative is the way it is today. When we watched the guy I was talking about last time react to life that way. That's crazy. No different than it is that NFL got through that girl through the TV, man. Overweight, it don't matter what it's about. That's crazy. I don't care what she did.
Here's the game, O.
Yeah.
What we come to, right, is that people who act like that are in a state of rage. And rage is an uncontrolled state of anger. So we are already acknowledging it's beyond the common man's limits once he reaches that point. So the question would be now, never mind what your background is or why you act like you act or why your line is drawn there, wherever it is. The question is, how does any man or any person for that matter keep themselves from going into a rage state? How do we better manage our anger even in times of...
See, when people say stuff like that, like I want to go to like biology because like I always had a discussion, and I learned that like males are like brain dead at birth. There's like a chemical released in the womb that slows down our emotional side of the brain, and so in a sense we're like brain dead when we're born, and you can kind of see it like when you graduate high school. The males at 18 are like just happy they ain't got to go to class in the morning and trying to get through the day, and the girls is always trying to look for the next thing. And then you notice that males don't really like click that they really don't know it all until close to 30, whereas women, and this is why you get the dynamic of the older man and the younger woman. And the part about that is that like the strength that a woman has is her emotion. If mismanaged, it can be like uncontrollable and all that. But like with the right man, he presides over and controls it because he needs that emotion. But men have the power to mentally respond to life instead of emotionally react. We have that power to do that. But if you watch your mama lie to the bill collector, you learn to lie. When you watch your mama respond to life the way a woman would, you start to do that. And I'm saying men have never in history behaved this way until now. Like this ain't he ain't the first guy to get hit in the face with an elbow. Like that, men just don't respond like that in modern times. We do, and that's not okay. Because what's the example we said? Men got to mentally respond to life. We got to think. We have the power to do that. We can step outside of the situation and say, okay, this is how I should move.
Bruh.
I'm protect what's important.
Bruh. Listen.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to say what you're saying is wrong at all.
Yeah.
So let me lead with that.
Okay.
But you have to understand when you're in a physical state of combat, there is a chemical reaction produced by that same body called adrenaline. And it does weird shit to people. And some people, there's a small sect like O positive or something. But these motherfuckers, when they see and or taste their own blood, it makes them go into a literal rage.
I believe this incident was in the act of the play. He was cool
until he seen his own blood.
It was a part of the game at first, and then his ego induced that rage.
His ego.
It was induced by his ego. It wasn't nothing
Listen,
else.
he been
Nobody excited him
do you
to
know
do
how
all
hard
that
it
but
is to
his
get
own
in the
ego.
NBA and get playing time? On any team, the worst team in the world, let's just say it's the Pistons. Do you know how hard it is to get that position? He making millions of dollars.
Did he help his case in
If he blew
keeping
his
it?
smoking weed, I would be like, okay. But you don't think he know how not to rage? He ain't think he ain't never been hit in the face before? He don't have a history of raging, and LeBron don't have a history of being a dirty player. But what
And
he
who?
meant to do was give him a bow to the body, and my man got low on him trying to get position. So instead of him getting a bow to the body, he got a bow to the head.
Who
You know what I'm
controls
saying?
access to that paycheck to be on the
So
NBA team, to be in the league? Who controls access to that?
the owners,
Some rich white men, right?
right?
And to them, you look like an angry black man. Stereotype, typical problems.
True.
Can't work with. We can't control that. That's tricking you out of your bag, out of your money.
No,
You
I
let LeBron
understand that
trick
it's
you out of your
detrimental.
money. You got to be able to click in like, hey, that happened in the game. Let me respond to that a different way. You can't rage like that on the court at that game. Not
I'm a young
necessarily
boy.
like that.
I'm at the store. I send my girl in the store to grab me a blunt. Some niggas over there trying to holler at her before she come out. I get out. Now I'm like, yo, man, watch out, man. That's my girl. Them niggas like, nigga, anyway. You know what I'm
I wouldn't
saying?
even said that. I'd have kept walking,
Hey,
man.
look,
If she was open.
or whatever you said. Whatever you said. You know what I'm saying? To come extract Joe Broad from that situation. Now, all of a sudden, you in an incident.
I wouldn't
You pop
extract
out.
unless she was telling me she needed help.
What I'm saying is that it's a lot of people whose morality, code, neighborhood, they move through with violence. That is a common response to disrespect. Play that Chicago bullshit. Play with them boys and see what happened. So all I'm saying is, never mind the philosophical, is it right or wrong? Them boys know the difference between right and wrong. They just choose to move how they move because they rage takes control of them. So the question that what we're trying to get to is, how do you keep from going to that state? Do you have any suggestions on that?
I think that like men don't move like that. So if you teach him what a man is and give him options on how to respond to situations like
That's
that,
what we start looking for, the options. What are the options to how to respond to blatant disrespect?
See, that's a different question.
I'm a different guy. Like I like to charm. I charm to disarm niggas to see like where their temperature is. You know, I don't know. Like I'm very well spoken, so like I tend to like use my words and my brain to handle situations, and I'm a good judge of discernment, man. So like I don't never think that there's another guy that's sitting across me that's smarter than me that he gonna trick me out of my emotions, because what you enrage, you are uncontrollable, and that's not okay. So to deal with rage is to not rage. I don't think that like rage should be a part of our character. I think that's an emotional
How do you deal with your anger? That's rage is one way to deal with your anger. How do you suggest, or what other ways?
I step out of the situation. I always step out and look at it first.
Yourself.
I always do.
Remove yourself first from the situation.
Remove myself.
Okay. Give yourself time to think.
Yeah, I gotta trust what I know to be true. I gotta trust what I know to be true. And I can easily get caught up in the situation. I have to mentally respond before I react. Sometimes I'll pause and I'll think. It may be obvious. My brain may it process shit real fast, but it's a lot going on. But I'm gonna step back and I'm gonna look at it first, and I'm gonna make the right decision so that like I keep my liberty in society.
Ooh, liberty. That's a strong word, brother. Ain't nothing like a man being able to walk around when he feel like it.
Right.
Freedom. And with that being said, that's exactly what we're talking about. That's what we talk about. Like, so I mean, I understand what you're saying. Like, we gotta find ways to be able to find out how not to get to that point. But the only way to do it is just to not get there. Like, the only thing you can do is self-manage. You have to, like, once you get to adulthood, you know what your triggers are. We can pretend like we don't. We can pretend like we're trying to run away from